Welcome to the comprehensive HotelRunner Channel Manager Setup Manual. This manual serves as a step-by-step guide, ensuring that you can easily navigate through the setup process. The manual is structured into two distinct phases. First one is the setup phase. This initial phase involves configuring the essential settings and parameters necessary for the proper functioning of the HotelRunner Channel Manager. The second one is synchronization and testing. This subsequent phase focuses on integrating the pricing and availability information defined for your property's room types and rate categories. Let's embark on the setup journey. Setup phase. Part 1. Language setup. The language setup menu is where you can designate the languages to be employed within the HotelRunner panel. During the setup of HotelRunner Channel Manager, configuring language settings is paramount to ensuring accurate user interface and communication language determinations. Consequently, prioritizing language settings is integral to the setup of HotelRunner Channel Manager. To access the language setup menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, Language Setup. Upon opening the Languages section on the left side of the screen, you will encounter the following options. Spoken languages and content languages. These categories represent the languages that are added into the HotelRunner panel. By adding new languages to these fields, you activate them for both the booking engine and, if managed through HotelRunner, the website. Then comes the primary language. Primary language serves as the foremost language preference for both HotelRunner panel and the booking engine. Conclude the language addition process by clicking Save button. Within the language setup menu, you will find sections for property amenities, room amenities, policies, and emails. Manual translations for these categories can be added to align with your selected languages. Since these sections will be set up in separate menus, you can revisit and address them at a later time when actively using the HotelRunner panel. The language setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase. Part 2. Property General Setup. The Property Setup menu is where you can specify fundamental details about your property, including its name, number of rooms, type, location, description, and more. Therefore, the information entered here directly influences the booking engine, making it crucial to furnish comprehensive and accurate details. Access to this menu is available through My Property, Settings, then Property. Upon accessing the screen, you will encounter the following options. Property name. The free text entered into this field will be showcased in the bottom left corner of the HotelRunner panel. Additionally, it will serve as the name of your property on your booking engine and, if managed through HotelRunner, on your website. Property type. You have the flexibility to select the most suitable option based on the concept of your property from this field. Number of rooms. You have the option to input the total number of physical rooms available in your property in this field. Location information. The information entered into this field does not necessarily require a precise address, but is advised to be descriptive enough to easily convey the location to someone unfamiliar. Furthermore, by providing specific details about nearby central areas, the goal is to enhance the appeal of your property to potential hotel guests on platforms where this information is published. Description. This functions as a general information space designed for posting across interconnected digital platforms, with the aim of promoting your property, making a favorable impression on potential guests, and enhancing your brand image. Before proceeding further, it is prudent to save all the changes made up to this point, as there is a risk of potential progress loss in the upcoming stages. Open all year round. Keep this checkbox selected if your property operates throughout the entire year. If your property is open only during specific dates, Choose the opening and closing dates that will be in effect when you deselect the checkbox. Time zone. This setting allows you to choose a specific time zone to align with time differences in accommodation reservations, guest communication, reporting, logging, and similar processes. Logo. You have the option to upload your property's logo through this field, allowing it to be displayed on the booking engine and, if managed through HotelRunner, on the website as well. Price rounding option. This option allows you to round up or down the fractions resulting from the application of multipliers to the rates offered through the HotelRunner Channel Manager or from changes in exchange rates. When the No Change option is selected, the number remains in fractional form. Sales currency. This represents the primary currency employed by your property as the main reference for pricing management. You have the option to update your sales currency in this field. Please bear in mind that if you intend to change the sales currency after the integration of online travel agencies, it is strongly recommended to execute the process in collaboration with our support team to prevent any potential errors. Once the data entry is completed, click the Save button. In the language selection field on this screen, you have the option to choose from the languages previously added in the language setup process. Once a language is selected, you can input information in alignment with the chosen language. Profile Content Score. This tool assesses the status and progress of your property's data entry into the HotelRunner Channel Manager. The score is utilized to determine whether the information in your property's profile is complete, accurate, and up to date. The objective here is to achieve a profile content score of 100%, as this data is also reflected in the booking engine and on the website. Upon completing the entire setup process, it is advisable to revisit this field and reassess the score once again, ensuring it has reached 100%. Before we conclude the property setup process, there is one more topic to cover. The HotelRunner Channel Manager also provides flexibility, allowing you to collaborate with integrated online travel agencies using different currencies if desired. In such instances, you have the option to add additional currencies and establish exchange rates for them through the Cashier menu. To manage additional currencies within the HotelRunner panel, apart from the sales currency, navigate to PMS, Cashier, then Currencies. In this context, you are provided with the option to incorporate additional currencies by simply selecting the Add a Currency button. You can designate the additional currency by selecting it in the To Currency field. When the Auto option is enabled, the exchange rate will be sourced from the European Central Bank. Conversely, when it is disabled, you have the flexibility to set and fix the rate at a predefined value according to your preferences. To conclude the currency addition process, click the Save button. The property general setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 3. Contact Setup. The ability for guests to reach you promptly through appropriate communication channels significantly enhances their overall experience with your property. Therefore, it is crucial to accurately input contact information during the setup process, as the details entered here will be prominently displayed on your booking engine. If managed through HotelRunner, they will also be reflected on your website. To access the contact menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, and Contact. The information you include in the contact menu within HotelRunner Channel Manager encompasses the following details. Street address. This section is intended for specifying the precise physical location of your property. You can proceed to input details such as the country, province, street address, city, and postal code in this field to accurately define the address of your property. If you manage your website through the HotelRunner panel, the location information displayed on the website is synchronized with this field. Here, you have the option to manually edit the location on the existing map. It's important to note that changes made on the map will not impact the address information you've entered. Emails. The email section of the contact menu serves two primary purposes. Firstly, emails sent to the property from HotelRunner, encompassing information such as new reservation notifications, cancellation notifications, update delivery failures, etc., are directed to the specified email addresses in this field. Secondly, the primary email address in this field will be highlighted as the contact email address on your property's booking engine. If managed through HotelRunner, this information will also be reflected on the website. To incorporate a new email, utilize the Add Email button located on the top right side of the screen. Every newly created email address must undergo verification through an automatic email sent to ensure its validity and usability as a security measure. Please note that while you can add multiple email addresses, only one can serve as the primary email address. To activate and use the recently created email, it is imperative to input the verification code dispatched to the specified email address. After the email address is successfully verified, you can designate it as the primary email address by utilizing the Set as Primary Email button among the verified email addresses. Please be advised that, as this is a trial HotelRunner account intended for instructional purposes, that option is not available within this tutorial. Phones. You can incorporate phone numbers within this designated section of the contact menu for convenient access to your property. To incorporate a new phone number, utilize the Add Phone button located on the top right side of the screen. Be aware that opting for mobile as the type option for the number entails an automatic verification process through an SMS sent to the provided mobile number. Other phone types do not undergo this specific verification procedure. The system will automatically populate the corresponding country code based on the selected country. Enter the phone number and proceed to click the Save button to store the entered phone number. You can designate the primary phone number by using the Set as Primary Phone button among the added phone numbers. Please note that while you can add multiple phone numbers, only one can serve as the primary phone number. The contact setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 4, Tax Category Setup. The Tax Categories menu enables you to configure the tax types applicable to the products and services offered at your property. Through this menu, you can establish the tax rate for revenue items utilized in HotelRunner Channel Manager and PMS modules. Additionally, you can specify whether taxes are included in the price or not. To access the Tax Categories menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, and Tax Categories. To incorporate a new tax category, click the Add Tax Category button. Upon clicking on this button, you will encounter the net and fixed percentage options. Opt for the net option if the tax is intended to be added to the amount as a net figure. Or choose the fixed percentage option if the tax is to be applied as a percentage. For this instance, we will proceed with the fixed percentage option. In the name field, enter the desired name for the tax category you wish to create. If you wish the tax amount to be integrated into the price, click Included in Price. It's worthy to note that, in the booking engine, it will be displayed as a plus on the price, but this presentation won't appear in the other online sales channels. Specify the tax percentage in the tax rate field. Select the applicable taxable income accounts in the revenue accounts field. For tax categories encompassing lodging, select accommodation. For tax categories covering items other than lodging, choose the appropriate options among other revenue accounts. In the Co field, select a second option for municipal city tax, and for all other tax categories, select the first option. Provide the tax category name for the additional languages you established in the language setup. Click the Save button to preserve the tax category. You can incorporate various tax categories into the HotelRunner panel by replicating the same process. The tax category setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 5, Payment Method Setup. In the Payment Methods menu, you can articulate the payment methods utilized and accepted during the booking process at your property. The details entered in this menu describe the available payment options for guests during the booking process and outline the supported payment methods at your property. To access the Payment Methods menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, Payment Methods. In this menu, the Cash, Pay at the Property option is pre-configured in the HotelRunner panel settings. To incorporate a new payment method, click the Add Payment Method button located in the upper right corner of the screen. Select the preferred payment method. In this instance, we'll proceed with mail order as the designated option. Upon selecting the payment method, click the Save button. On the ensuing page, update the name of your payment method to be displayed. The Display On option provides the flexibility to make the payment method visible and applicable to guests during the online booking process, which is front-end, as well as for hotel management when processing reservations on the administrative side, which is back-end, or for both scenarios. The Account option is utilized to ensure accurate data retrieval for reporting purposes within the context of properties using HotelRunner PMS. It is important to note that if you are not utilizing HotelRunner PMS, your selection in this regard will not impact your operational processes. Additionally, you have the capability to impose restrictions on the visibility of the payment method within a specified timeframe leading up to the check-in date. It is advisable to include a descriptive text for guests, providing detailed information about the payment method. You can then proceed to select the available markets, supported currencies, and compatible credit cards for the designated payment method. You opt for the All option to make the chosen payment method available for all future rate plans that will be created. Then click the Save button. Enter the data for the previously established languages available in the HotelRunner panel and click the Save button again. Ultimately, activate the newly created payment method. If your property adheres to a fixed operational model and does not accommodate flexible working arrangements, it is advisable to deactivate the cash payment option to ensure the effective implementation of the cancellation policy. To disable any payment method, it is essential to define at least one alternative payment option. Failure to do so will restrict the deactivation of the payment method within the system. Furthermore, we would like to highlight that you have the capability to integrate your HotelRunner Channel Manager with various virtual POS payment methods to manage a more reliable operation. The payment method setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 6, Gallery and Amenities Setup. The The gallery menu serves as the section dedicated to incorporating overall photos of your property, while the amenities menu allows you to add and showcase all the distinctive attributes of your property by selecting them through the available buttons. The content you contribute to these two menus plays a significant role in presenting your potential guests with a closer look at the ambience, services, and general characteristics of your property. Furthermore, the inclusion of visual and descriptive elements positively influences guests' perceptions of your property and contributes to higher booking rates. To access the gallery menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, and Gallery. To integrate media into the gallery, utilize the Add Photo button. At this juncture, you have the option to either drag files directly or employ the Add File function to select and upload the desired files. In the gallery, you have the option to include not only images but also videos and 360-degree tours. Please note that videos should be added in the form of YouTube, Dailymotion, or Vimeo links. To incorporate additional photos, click the Add Photo button. You have the capability to designate a name for the image in the languages you defined earlier, ensuring its reflection on the website. Additionally, it is imperative to include the gallery tag with the image for it to be visible on the website, if managed through HotelRunner. Before proceeding, it is pertinent to remind you of the minimum resolution requirements for the optimal display of content. Directly above the gallery menu, you will find the amenities menu. Within this menu, you are presented with the option to outline the services and features offered by your property using the provided buttons. The amenities you select from this menu encompass various sections, including the general areas, food and beverage areas, and social spaces. All additions made in the amenities menu will be reflected on your website, if managed through HotelRunner. To add amenities, select the features that are applicable to your property. Subsequently, click the Save button to conclude the process. As a final reminder, please be aware that the management of room features and room images is not conducted through this menu, but rather through another menu, which will be covered in detail during our setup process. The gallery and amenities setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 7, Markets Setup. The Markets menu allows you to designate the countries where your property's rates are displayed in the booking engine via HotelRunner Channel Manager. If you intend to provide varied rates, restrictions, or distinct rate plans based on different countries, this menu facilitates the management of such operations. If your property follows a consistent pricing policy worldwide, with no variation by country or region, no adjustments to the Markets menu are required. Please note that a single country cannot be added to 2 or more different markets simultaneously. To access the Markets menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, and Markets. As a country cannot be included in more than one market, the initial step in adding a new market is to free up the countries intended for inclusion in the new market. In this instance, we will be establishing a market for North America. Therefore, we will initiate the process by removing the USA and Canada from the existing list. To establish a new market, click the Add Market button. In the title field, enter a name for the market. The price display field is where you select the currency for the display. Select the countries to be added to this market in the Syllable Markets field. Designate the applicable rate plan for the inclusion of this market. As there is currently no predefined rate plan, opting for All will extend the market's application to all forthcoming rate plans. Should you prefer to manage it independently, you may revisit this menu to effectuate the requisite adjustments at your discretion. If there is a specific payment method you intend to associate with this market, you can make the appropriate selection. Subsequently, proceed to finalize the process by clicking the Create button. You can incorporate various markets into the HotelRunner panel by replicating the same process. The markets setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 8, Rate Segment Setup. The Rate Segments menu empowers your property to establish specific rate segments, offering enhanced flexibility in pricing optimization, targeted marketing endeavors, and strategic revenue management based on various factors. Recognized as a fundamental tool for maintaining competitiveness and maximizing profitability, the data derived from rate segments can be accessed through reporting, providing valuable insights. Accessing the Rate Segments menu is achieved by navigating to PMS, Setup, and Rate Segments. To incorporate a new rate segment, initiate the process by selecting the Add Segment button. Input the preferred name into the designated name field. Choose the rate plan type from the type code field. Specify the level in the level field. Designate the applicable rate plan for the inclusion of this rate segment. As there is currently no predefined rate plan, opting for All will extend the rate segment application to all forthcoming rate plans. If you wish to handle this separately, you may revisit this aspect after completing the initial setup. Conclude the procedure by clicking the Save button. You can incorporate various rate segments into the HotelRunner panel by replicating the same process. The rate segment setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 9, Room Type Setup. The room type setup process involves adding room types and their corresponding details to HotelRunner Channel Manager. Upon completing the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup, the information entered at this stage will be displayed on the booking engine. If managed through HotelRunner, it will also be reflected on the website. Considering the potential for sharing with online travel agencies and third-party integrations, it is imperative to define all information about room types accurately and comprehensively to facilitate smooth integrations. To access the Room Types menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, and Room Types. To integrate a new room type, click the Add Room Type button. Select the type of room you want to create. If you cannot find an exact match, you can choose the closest room type and update its name later. If the room will be shared by multiple guests simultaneously, mark the Shared Room option. If not, you can leave it as it is. Specify the number of rooms for this room type. The Number of Rooms field indicates the total count of physical rooms corresponding to this specific category within your property. Specify both the room capacity and adult capacity. The room capacity signifies the maximum number of occupants the room can accommodate in total, while the adult capacity designates the maximum number of adult guests permitted within the room. For instance, if you select a room capacity of 3 and an adult capacity of 2, it signifies that the room can house a total of 3 guests, with 2 of them being adults and 1 being a child. It is important to emphasize that once a room type has been connected to channels, the reduction of room capacity can involve a considerable amount of time and effort. Therefore, it is highly advisable to exercise careful consideration and clarity during the initial room capacity determination stage. In the Sales Period field, you are presented with 3 options: daily, weekly, and monthly. Opting for weekly restricts availability to periods of no less than a week in the booking engine, and similarly, choosing monthly limits availability to periods no shorter than a month. For optimal operational flexibility, it is strongly recommended to select daily in this field. If there is a need to offer the room type with weekly or monthly restrictions, you can conveniently utilize the minimum stay feature accessible in the calendar bulk update section. Additionally, it is advised to uncheck the non-refundable field, as the management of non-refundable prices can be handled separately within a distinct rate plan. Ensuring that the base price or per night price remains consistent at the established value of $7,999 is imperative. This figure serves as a safeguard against the unintended underselling of rooms when prices haven't been specified in the calendar. Consequently, it is strongly recommended to maintain this value or set an equivalent high price if using a different currency. Within this interface, you have the option to define the range of occupancy variations for the selected room type. The number of guests field automatically calculates based on the adult capacity specified in the preceding adult capacity field. You may choose to complete these adjustments within this menu or defer them to the rate plan's creation stage, which will be addressed in subsequent phases. Click the Create button to finalize the creation of the room type. Upon creating a room type, it is essential to provide the name and description in all languages defined within the system. Click the Save button to preserve the progress so far. As the master rate and rate types fields are associated with the rate plan setup phase, no action is required at this current stage. In the Rooms field, you can establish the availability status of the rooms within the created room type. This includes specifying maintenance status, the floor, room numbers, a crucial step if you are utilizing HotelRunner PMS, the number of bedrooms and bathrooms, area details, bed types, and view. You can designate the features of the created room type in the Amenities field by selecting them on the screen. You can connect the room type you have created in the Channels field to online travel agencies. Since this is a process with channel connections, you do not need to do this at this stage. By leveraging the Gallery field, you can effectively showcase multiple images associated with the room type. With the More Options button, you gain access to advanced functionalities enabling you to modify room type, selling period, and the associated transaction account. Selecting this option allows you to showcase the room through third-party integrations. For websites managed via HotelRunner, clicking this option will enable the room to be featured on the website. Furthermore, you can set minimum stay restrictions and provide details such as the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and area dimensions. If integrating with a third-party PMS, you have the option to input the room type code here to facilitate mapping with the third-party PMS. Click the Save button to preserve the additional settings. At the conclusion of these processes, our goal is to achieve a content score of 100% for the newly created room type, since the data entered here will directly impact the information displayed on both the booking engine and the website, particularly if they are managed through HotelRunner. You can incorporate all room types into the HotelRunner panel by replicating the same process. The room type setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 10, Policies Setup. The policies setup involves adding essential elements such as cancellation policies, child age ranges, and other relevant business policies to the HotelRunner panel. To access the Policies menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, and Policies. In this menu, we will be addressing the details of other policies and cancellation policies, The cancellation policies setup entails the introduction of predefined cancellation policies to the HotelRunner Channel Manager. To incorporate a new cancellation policy, click the New Cancellation Policy button. Specify the name of the cancellation policy you will create in the name field. Provide a description for this cancellation policy in the description field. This description will be visible in the booking engine. In the refundable type field, specify whether the cancellation policy is partially refundable, fully refundable, or non-refundable. Your choice here would influence certain options available in the subsequent steps, as they may vary depending on the selected cancellation policy. The same process should be carried out for all languages added into the HotelRunner panel. Then conclude the process by clicking the Save button. You can incorporate more cancellation policies into the HotelRunner panel by replicating the same process. Upon moving to other policies, the first option you will encounter is the deposit policy. The deposit policy setup involves informing the HotelRunner Channel Manager about your property's decision on collecting a deposit from hotel guests during bookings, specifying the deposit amount, and indicating whether tax will be included in this deposit. The sequence begins with the activation of the deposit policy. Then, the fee type is selected as either a fixed fee, a fixed percentage, or a fixed fee per night. Next, the amount of the fee is specified. After determining whether tax is included or excluded from the deposit fee, the process can be saved. In the case of this property, no deposit policy will be applied, therefore it will be deactivated. The second option under Other Policies is Child Ages. The child ages setup entails the introduction of predefined child age ranges to the HotelRunner Channel Manager. Upon accessing child ages, click the Age Range button to modify the child ages. Here, you can specify the title, code, starting age and ending age for the child age range. And finally click the Save button to preserve the changes. The third option under Other Policies is also titled Other Policies. The Other Policies setup involves introducing the check-in and check-out time set at the property, indicating whether valet service is provided, and specifying whether pets are allowed at the property. Once the changes are complete, click the Save button to preserve the changes. It is worth highlighting that the policies modified in this menu will not be reflected on the online travel agencies, but only on the booking engine. The policy setup is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager setup phase. Setup phase, Part 11, Rate Plan Setup. Rate plans refer to the arrangement of the created room types through HotelRunner Channel Manager based on specific pricing and packaging strategies. When establishing rate plans, it is important to categorize them based on factors such as target guest segments, marketing strategies, and the operational structure of your property. The management of rate plans set up within the HotelRunner panel can be efficiently carried out through the dedicated Rate Plans menu. To access the Rate Plans menu, navigate to My Property, Settings, Rate Plans. The master rate serves as the foundation rate type that forms the basis for all other rate options within your property, as it is the core rate upon which other rates are structured. In this setup, we will put master rate at the center and manage all other rate plans through master rate. Therefore, we will first modify the master rate, then create new rate plans and link the master rate to these new rate plans. All room types are automatically linked to a predefined master rate as they are created. Clicking on each room type under the main heading of master rate allows you to customize settings for that specific room. You have the option to specify a name for this rate type. If left unchanged, it will be displayed as rate plan's name and room type's name, as shown. As a general practice in the HotelRunner panel, it is necessary to fill in the information in all the languages defined within the system. The rate plan field should be kept as master rate. The code field is designated for adding codes received from third-party integrations. If no such connection exists, you may leave this field blank. It is recommended to select Show Refundable Rate and deselect Non-Refundable due to the preferability of creating a separate rate plan specifically for managing non-refundable rates, rather than integrating them within the master rate. Keep the child pricing engine field as standard. If you wish to manage child rates in advanced mode, you may reach out to the HotelRunner support team for assistance. Base price per night is set at €7,999 as a precautionary measure to prevent selling rooms at low prices in the absence of a specific rate in the calendar. Feel free to input a high number in this field. The highest possible value is recommended. When implementing variable pricing based on the number of guests occupying a particular room type, it is possible to incorporate rate differentials for each guest, added in either a positive or negative figures, in terms of currency value or percentage. For instance, consider a scenario involving a standard room designed for 3 occupants, and we want to introduce a rate variance of €15 for each of the first, second, and third guests. In this pricing model, which is centered on the second guest, the following adjustments apply. If only one guest stays, the rate will be reduced by €15 compared to the base rate. If 2 guests occupy the room, the rate remains unchanged. If 3 guests stay, the rate increases by €15 relative to the rate for the second guest. You also have several other options such as adding €15 for each guest, beyond the first guest. Or instead of specifying a fixed currency value, a percentage calculation can be implemented. In this field, it is possible to define the age brackets for children based on the age ranges established in the policy setup. When the sell-free option remains enabled, child pricing within the designated age brackets will be offered at no charge. If you opt to disable the sell-free option and subsequently decide to implement it, you are afforded the opportunity to specify the number of children eligible for complimentary pricing within the paid child pricing framework. Within the specified age range, you have the capability to define the child rate either as a fixed monetary deduction or as a percentage reduction relative to the base price. Regardless of the base price, you can also establish a net child rate for the corresponding age range within the framework of child pricing. Upon selecting your desired option, you may proceed by entering the corresponding value. As a reminder, no prices have been entered into the calendar as of yet. Currently, only the rates for the price differences between individuals and for children have been established relative to the base price. When prices are eventually inputted into the calendar, the rates will reflect the entered price, not the base price, accurately reflecting the pricing structure. Recalculate prices feature serves to accommodate proportional adjustments in accordance with calendar changes once actively engaged with the HotelRunner panel. This option empowers users to efficiently synchronize alterations made within the rate plan, ensuring accurate pricing representation. Click the Update button to preserve the changes. It will be necessary to replicate the same process for other room types associated with the master rate. Upon completing the essential modifications to the master rate, the creation of new rate plans based on this foundation becomes possible. To incorporate an additional rate plan, click the Add Rate Plan button. Specify the name of the rate plan in the name field. Similar to the linked room types, the main heading of the rate plan also includes a code field for adding codes received from third-party integrations. If there is no such connection, you may leave this field blank. Specify the meal plan based on the content of the rate plan. In the cancellation policy field, select the appropriate cancellation policy created during the policy setup phase for use in this rate plan. Select the relevant market from those created in the market setup phase in the Sellable Markets field. Select the eligible payment methods from those created during the Payment Method Setup phase in the Available Payment Methods field. Select the applicable segments from those created in the Rate Segment Setup phase in the Rate Segments field. Utilize the Add Date Settings field to actively manage this rate plan within specific date ranges. This feature enables the creation of periodic rate plans for designated periods. In the Link to a Rate Plan field, select the master rate already created for operational ease in managing all rate plans. Since this is a breakfast included rate plan, ensure to incorporate the breakfast fee into the pricing structure for this specific rate plan. Click the Per Person button to ensure that the breakfast fee is charged on a per person basis. If you wish to apply the breakfast charge additionally for children, you can utilize the Child Adjustment Amount field. For additional adjustments, you may use the Then field. We'll employ this option for the subsequent rate plan. Ensure that the Open to Direct Channels option is checked in this rate plan so that it can be visible on the booking engine. As a reminder, for the previously modified master rate plan in this specific setup, the Open to Direct Channels option should remain unchecked. Complete the process of adding a rate plan by clicking Create. After successfully creating the new rate plan, the next step involves adding rooms to this specific rate plan. Click the Assign a Room Type button located next to the rate plan you have just created. From the Select Room Type field, choose the room type you intend to connect and click Continue. Similar to the master rate, you also have the option to specify a name for this rate type. If left unchanged, it will be displayed as Rate Plan's name and Room Type's name. Furthermore, it is necessary to fill in the information in all the languages defined within the system to properly showcase the rate plan in different languages. The rate plan field should remain as breakfast included in accordance with the rate plan. Keep Show Refundable Rate selected and Non-Refundable deselected. Additionally, in this rate plan, different from the master rate, the corporate code field is also available alongside the code field. Optionally, you may input codes into the relevant fields. Since this rate plan is linked to the master rate, when assigning room type, the same person and child rates or percentages linked to the master rate will automatically reflect here. Therefore, any modifications made in these fields will result in duplicate entries. We highly advise not to make any edits in these fields to ensure accuracy in the pricing structure. Click the Create button to complete. To assign additional room types to the rate plan, the same process should be replicated. To incorporate an additional rate plan, click the Add Rate Plan button. Specify the name of the rate plan in the name field. At this juncture, we will establish a non-refundable rate plan. Input a code if applicable. Specify the meal plan based on the content of the rate plan. It is crucial to select a non-refundable cancellation policy for this rate plan to establish this as a non-refundable rate plan. Select the relevant market from those created in the Market Setup phase in the Sellable Markets field. Select the eligible payment methods from those created during the Payment Method Setup phase in the Available Payment Methods field. Select the applicable segments from those created in the Rate Segment Setup phase in the Rate Segments field. Utilize the Add Date Settings field to actively manage this rate plan within specific date ranges. This feature enables the creation of periodic rate plans for designated periods. Select the Master Rate option from the Link to a Rate Plan field, following the same procedure as for the previous rate plan. As this is the breakfast included non-refundable rate plan, the breakfast fee and non-refundable discounts will be implemented via the designated Fast and Then fields. Input the breakfast fee in the first field. Click the Per Person button to ensure that the breakfast fee is charged on a per person basis. If you wish to apply the breakfast charge additionally for children, you can utilize the Child Adjustment Amount field. Input the non-refundable discount in the Then field. As the non-refundable fee is applied on a room basis rather than a per person basis, it is imperative that the per person field remain unselected. In this configuration, it is unnecessary to incorporate any further child adjustments at this juncture. As a reminder, the first and then fields can alternatively be utilized in various scenarios for incorporating either negative or positive values expressed as percentages or fixed currency amounts. Ensure that the Open to Direct Channels option is checked in this rate plan so that it can be visible on the booking engine. Complete the process of adding a rate plan by clicking the Create button. Following the successful creation of the new rate plan, the subsequent step entails adding rooms to this particular rate plan, mirroring the process employed for the previously created rate plan. Click the Assign a Room Type button located next to the rate plan you have just created, and choose the room type you intend to connect and click Continue. The procedure for assigning a room type to this rate plan mirrors the methodology utilized for previous rate plan. Furthermore, given that this rate plan is also linked to the master rate, like the breakfast included plan, any modifications made in these fields will result in duplicate entries. As a crucial reminder, it is imperative to ensure that, despite the non-refundable nature of this rate plan, the option Show Refundable Rate is selected while Non-Refundable is deselected. As the non-refundable policy has been specified in the main heading of the rate plan, no further indication or action regarding its non-refundable status is necessary. Additional actions in this regard may disrupt the workflow within this framework. Complete the process of adding a rate plan by clicking Create. To assign additional room types to the rate plan, the same process should be replicated. To summarize the actions undertaken in the rate plan setup so far. Initially, adjustments were made to the adult and child rates within the room types associated with the master rate. Subsequently, the breakfast included rate plan was created, with the master rate being linked to this plan, and the variance in breakfast pricing was incorporated. Room types were then assigned to the breakfast included rate plan. Following this, the breakfast included non-refundable rate plan was introduced. Similar to the previous step, the master rate was linked to this plan, and adjustments for breakfast pricing and non-refundable discounts were applied. And room types were assigned to the breakfast included non-refundable rate plan. As detailed in the following section, in the upcoming rate update phase, only one rate entry will be needed for the master rate. This method sets up a smooth system for transactions, making it easier to automatically calculate rates for the rest of the process. You can expand upon this framework by incorporating additional rate plans based on your operational needs. The setup phase is now complete. You may proceed to the synchronization and testing phase. Synchronization and testing phase. Part 1. The integration of rate and availability. In the synchronization and testing phase, the focus is on integrating the pricing strategies and availability data that have been pre-established for your property into the HotelRunner panel. This involves the input of pricing data and availability forecasts for at least the upcoming 6 months. The initial part within this phase is adding rate and availability. Here, the process entails utilizing the bulk updates calendar within the HotelRunner Channel Manager. This calendar is highly efficient for simultaneous execution of multiple updates across all room types and rate plans. Initiate the process by navigating to Calendar and Bulk Updates. Under the What do you want to update heading, select the Availability and Price options. Following this selection, specify the start date and end date for the duration of no less than 6 months. In the center of the screen, input the designated prices in the rate field and indicate the number of rooms available for sale for each room type in the availability field. The refinements implemented to the master rate during the rate plan setup phase have notably streamlined the execution of rate structures in this phase. By only entering rates on the master rate instead of doing it separately for each rate plan, the process has become much simpler and more straightforward. Click the Update button to process the rate and availability updates. Upon clicking the Update button, a preview screen is promptly displayed, allowing users to review the impending update before it is finalized. Within this preview interface, proceed by clicking the Update button once more to confirm and initiate the update process. The integration of rate and availability is now complete. You may proceed to the next part of the HotelRunner Channel Manager synchronization and testing phase. Synchronization and testing phase. Part 2. The validation of rate and availability. In the subsequent part of the synchronization and testing phase, the focus lies on validating the integration of pricing and availability established in the previous part. This involves utilizing the Simple Updates calendar within the HotelRunner Channel Manager. Notably, this calendar proves highly efficient in facilitating the seamless and expedient validation of availability and pricing updates. Initiate the process by navigating to Calendar and Simple Updates. In the Customize Calendar window, select the preferred room type and designate Online from the Channels field. In this context, Online specifically denotes the HotelRunner panel. Upon completion of channel integrations, additional options for various online travel agencies will become accessible within this field, enabling users to review them accordingly. Click Continue to proceed with the review of the calendar. Upon accessing the page, this icon here symbolizes that the updates you performed have been successfully processed. Here, you can view the price, and here you can view the availability you defined for the relevant date. By clicking the More button, you can access detailed information such as price variances for individuals and child rates. During the rate plan setup phase, pricing was configured based on the second guest. Consequently, the rate for the second guest was inputted into the master rate field within the bulk update calendar, with the system automatically handling subsequent calculations. As per the setup specifications, the pricing structure is as follows. The first guest rate should be €15 less than the second guest, while the third guest rate should be €15 more than the second guest. Additionally, children aged 0 to 6 years old are granted complimentary accommodation, and children aged 7 to 12 years old receive a 50% discount of the master rate. It appears that all configurations have functioned according to plan, without encountering any errors. You can also utilize the calendar in a monthly view to extend your time period for review. The Go to Date option allows you to perform spot checks for future dates, providing you with the opportunity to ensure accuracy over an extended time frame. By replicating the same process, you can continue validating the rate and availability for other room types as well. Congratulations! The HotelRunner Channel Manager setup process has been successfully completed. This comprehensive tutorial covered two main sections, setup phase and testing and synchronization phase steps. You have successfully configured room types, rate plans, cancellation policies, payment methods, and various other essential components. The next pivotal step involves connecting with online travel agencies directly from your HotelRunner Channel Manager panel. Our support team is readily available to assist you with any queries or provide further guidance during this phase. For any inquiries or assistance, please feel free to reach out to our support team via the contact details provided on the screen. Remember, HotelRunner Channel Manager is your ally in enhancing communication with partners and maximizing your bookings. We wish you continued success and a calendar full of bookings.